Richard Dawkins, The Magic of Reality. How we know what's really true. Chapter 6. What is the sun? The sun is so dazzlingly bright, so comforting in cold climate, so mercilessly scorching in hot ones. It's no wonder many people have worshipped it as a god. Sun worship often goes together with moon worship, and the sun and the moon are frequently regarded as being of opposite sex. The Tibu tribe of Nigeria and other parts of the West Africa believe the sun is the son of their high god, Owando, and the moon is Owando's daughter. The Groste tribe is Southeast Africa think the sun is the moon's husband rather than her brother. Myths often treat the sun as male and the moon as female, but it can be the other way around. In the Japanese Shinto religion, the sun is the goddess Amaterasu, and the moon is her brother Oketsusuno. The great civilization that flourished the South and Central America before the Spaniard arrived in the 16th century worshipped the sun. The Inca of the Andes believed the sun and the moon were their ancestors, and the Aztec of Mexico shared many of their gods with older civilizations in the area, such as the Maya. Several of these gods had a connection with the sun, or in some cases were the sun. The Aztec myths of the five suns held that there had been four worlds before the present one. Each one is one sun. The earlier four worlds were destroyed, and one after the other, by catastrophes, often engaged by the gods. The first sun was the god called Black Tenkalifeka. He fought with his brother, Kinjekoti, who knocked him out of the sky with his club. After a period of darkness is no sun. Kwajokalti became the second sun. In his anger, Tekalfalpika turned world people into monkeys. Often, Kwalajakotel blew all the monkeys away and then resigned as the second sun. The god Tolak then became the third sun. Annoyed when Tejakkailfalka stole his wife Chechi he sulked and refused to allow any rain to fall, so there was a terrible drought. The people begged and begged for rain. The Talak became so fed up with their begging that he sent down a rain of fire instead. This burned up the world, and the god had to start all over again. The fourth son was Talak's new wife, Chachalutiku. She started out well, but then Tukalifoka so upset that she cried tears of blood for 52 years without stopping. This completely flooded the world, and again the gods had to start from scratch. Isn't it strange? By the way, how exactly myths specify little details? How did Aztec decide that she cried for 52 years, not 51 or 53? The fifth sun, which the Aztec believed is the present one that we still see in the sky, was the god Tunatu, sometimes known as Huitzilopochtli. His mother, Katiliku, gave birth to him after being accidentally impregnated by a bundle of feathers. This might sound odd, but such things would have seemed quite normal to people brought up with traditional myths. Another Aztec goddess was impregnated by a goat, which is the dried skin of the fruit like a pumpkin. Kalituko's 400 sons were so enraged to find their mother pregnant yet again that they tried to behead her. However, in the nick of time, she gave birth to Hetuluchikti. He was born fully armed and lost no time in killing all of his 400 half-brothers except a few who escaped to the south. Kitty then assumed his duties as the fifth son. The Aztec believed that they had to sacrifice human victims to appear the sun god. Otherwise, he would not rise up the east, which morning apparently didn't work to them. To try the experiment of not making sacrifice to see whether the sun might, just possibly, rise anyway. The sacrifices themselves were famously gruesome. By the end of the Aztecs' heyday, when the Spaniards arrived, bring their own brand of gruesomeness. The sun cult had escalated to a glory climax. It's estimated that between 200,000 and 80,000 humans were sacrificed for the eradication of the great temple of Tenochtitlan in 1487. Various gifts could be offered to office to the sun god, but what he really liked was human blood and still beating human heart. One of the main purposes of the warfare was to collect lots of prisoners of war so that they could be sacrificed, usually by having their heart cut out. The ceremony normally took place on high ground to be closer to the sun. For example, on top of one of the magnificent pyramids for which the Aztec, Maya, and Inca are famous. Four priests would have hold the victim down over the altar, while a fifth priest wielded the knife. He worked as fast as possible to cut the heart out so that it was still beating when held up to the sun. Meanwhile, the heartless and bloody corpse would roll down the slope of the hill or pyramid to the bottom. Here it would be collected by the old man and then dismembered, often be eaten in ritual meals. We also associate pyramid with another ancient civilization, that of Egypt. The ancient Egyptians too were sun worshippers. One of the greatest of their gods was the sun god Ra. The Egyptian legend regards the curve of the sky as the body of the goddess, not arched over the earth. Every night the goddess swallowed the sun, and then the following morning she gave birth to him again. Various people, including the ancient Greeks and the Norsemen, had legend about the sun being a chariot driving across the sky. The Greek sun god was called Helios, and he had given his name to various scientific terms associated with the sun, as we saw in chapter 5. In other myths, the sun is not good, but one of the first creations of a god. In the creation myths of the Hebrew tribe of the Middle Eastern desert, and tribal god Yahweh created light on the first of his 6 days of creation. But then, surprisingly, he didn't create the sun until the fourth day, and God made two great lights, the great light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. Where the light came from on the first day, before the sun and the stars exist, we are not told. It's time to turn to reality and the true nature of the sun as borne out by scientific evidence. What's the sun really? The sun is a star. It's no difference from lots of other stars, except that we happen to be near it, so it looks much bigger and brighter than the others. For the same reason, the sun, unlike any other stars, feels hot, damages our eyes if we look straight at it, and burn our skin red if we stay out in it too long. It's not just a little bit nearer than any other star, it's vastly nearer. It's hard to guess how far away the stars are how big space is. Actually, it's more than hard. It's almost impossible. There's a lovely book called A Search by John Cassidy, which makes an